Hello friends, welcome to episode 128 of the Shauna Stitches Podcast. I'm Shauna and this is my crafty channel where I talk about all the things that I've been working on lately. Today is February 8th, 2026. It is 10:17 in the morning. It is a cloudy, overcast day here on the Oregon coast. I think we're about 45 degrees outside. Chilly, but not cold. Also not raining. We had rain and windstorm yesterday, so I'm glad that's over, at least for now. Down below in the description box, you can find everywhere that you can find me. That includes Instagram, Ravelry, my email address, an Ask Me Anything thread, and also Ravelry projects for all the projects I'm going to talk about. If you follow one of those links, any of those links to Ravelry, you can find all the projects that I have on there. Quite a lot now, I think over 400. So if you want answers to questions about any designs I've knit, I keep pretty good notes in there. If you still have questions, please just let me know. You can ask me questions here. You can shoot me a DM, whatever. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Okay, let's see what I'm wearing. Today I am wearing the Souffle. This is an all over mohair pattern. The mohair was dyed by my friend Anna in a custom color just for me, which is really special. I'll stand up and just kind of show you a little bit what it looks like. You can see most of it there. And I really love this. I would have gone for full-length sleeves, but I used literally every last bit of yarn that I had for this, and I really enjoy it. Okay, let's start with finished objects because I actually have one today. That's so exciting. And you guys, it's a big one. It's the one that I've been showing over and over and over again as a whip. In fact, I've been showing it off and on since December 24th of 2024, so over a year. My Anthology Throw is done. I say done, but I think I did not weave in my very first end, but it's done enough. It is blocked, although I did not take the time to pin out the edge. I just kind of left it. So my husband got a video where, you know how when people do blankets and they do the unroll video? I did one of those. I have to follow the trend because I think it's pretty cool. And then he got some still photos because obviously I can't show you everything here. You can get an idea. It certainly looks better than it did on the needles, but it is hard to grasp the whole thing. I did have this laid out on my king size bed. I don't have a good shot of it, but I can say that it was almost reaching the width and close to reaching the height, but not quite. So it covered the majority of the king size bed. The other thing I will say about this, I had told you over and over and over again about planning for an I-cord edge and how I was saving up the last mini for that. I got to the bind off and I was like, this isn't an I-cord edge. I did probably 12 stitches or so. And if I can find those videos, photos, I will pop them in here because I started binding off how the pattern said to. And I was like, first of all, this isn't an I-cord, which is what was in my head. And second of all, I really did not like how it looked at all. So I ripped those 12 or so bound off stitches off. And then I tried an I-cord, 3-stitch I-cord. That's what I ended up going with. You can really see just a huge difference, and I am much happier with this finished edge. I would say I'm not usually one who is really bothered by a bind off or a cast on edge, but in this one, it made a big difference. So I am quite happy with that. I did not bring it in here, but I ended up with 0.7 grams left of my final mini. So of my 2024 Cuddlebums Advent, I used all but 0.7 grams, which is amazing. I love it. Plus, my minis were bigger than 20 grams. They were all at least 20 point something, but a lot of them were 21 point something, maybe even 22. Ultimately, this was over 500 grams of yarn, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put the video and the photos in now so you can take a look at those. Anyway, I'm just super, super happy with how this turned out. In the next video, you will see I plan on putting this on the back of my podcast couch here. So I think the Stephen West shawls will go away for a while. The Cuddlebums blanket is going to go up on the couch. And the Stephen West shawls will probably come back in, was it September, October? I'll probably film a recap of all the MKAL shawls I've knit so far, and then they will probably make a reappearance, although this Cuddlebums blanket is just so happy and I love it, so it might be a permanent fixture. Speaking of Cuddlebums, I had a comment on, it was my Rujuu Clue 4 video, so it just went out yesterday. Somebody asked if I had plans for these advents behind me. And I said, yes, I've had ideas kind of pop in and out of my head here and there, but nothing I'm ready to cast on yet. That being said, I think they make a great decoration. So these might be up until next Advent. I don't know. I guess if it bothers you, let me know, but I kind of like seeing them. I like the color it adds. And let's be honest, if they're not there, I'm just going to have the little hooks in my wall. And then people are going to ask me what pictures I've taken down because I used to get that question a lot. What do you take down before you podcast? Because I see that you still have nails in the wall. Nope, they're just hooks. They're for my advents. So I think they look better than blank hooks. I don't know. You let me know. I really can't be bothered to change up the background a whole lot because, I don't know, that's not my thing. All right, so that was my only finished object, but it was a big one. So let's talk about whips. I have worked on 2 whips other than finishing the blanket in the last week. The first whip is one that I don't necessarily want to work on, but it's one that I need to work on. This is the Lullaby Blanket by Tin Can Knits. If you look where that gingerbread house is, that is where I was the last time that I showed you. And it's been a while, but I thought it would be good to put a marker in so that you could kind of see where I was. And I've definitely essentially doubled the size of the blanket. I'm doing the crib size. The pattern has stroller, crib, and throw sizes. So this is the crib size in a DK weight yarn. Oh, I didn't bring it in here. I need to do 39 repeats. And how many have I done? Maybe 15, 16, something like that. So I have a ways to go. And the baby I'm making this for is due next month. I don't know what day next month in March, but I'm just not wanting to work on it. I want to work on pretty much anything else. The yarns that I'm using for that are both gradients. They're from Ice Yarns. It's called Magic Light. Let's see. There's what it's called. This is old stash from when I was a mostly crocheter. In fact, I think only crocheter is when I bought this. So that's more than 10 years ago. And I'm just really happy to be finding a use for them. This one here, I crocheted my mom the Rings of Change blanket, which is a really cool pattern by Frank O'Randall is what I'm remembering. It's been a long time since I've looked at his patterns. I don't know if he's still making them. At the time, he was making a pattern for every letter of the alphabet. Anyway, and this one, I don't know what I bought this one for, but they go together pretty well. And you can see the main color is that green and coppery color, and then the little contrast lines are that shades of brown color. So I think it's nice for a baby boy. I just need to work on it. Let's see. The other project I worked on in the last week, I should say knitting project, because I actually have another project to show you, but it is not knitting, it is not crochet, it's spinning. So let's talk about the last knitting project, and that is my Rujuu Mystery Yoke Along or Mystery Knit Along by Zanete Knits. This is the 3rd annual Mystery Yoke Along, and I'm super excited with mine. I'm going to show it. I don't think it's a big spoiler. She's not really doing the spoiler thing this year, but I will say if you don't want to see it, look away now because I'm going to show it. Let's see here. There we are. So I'm doing the steeked cardigan version. My steek panel's running right down the center there. So clue 4 was from the top of the coral down to the bottom of the pink there. So it was a pretty big section. These little motifs look like little cars. It's a little traffic jam of cars, which I just think is so cute. If you actually look up close, you can see maybe they look less like cars. I don't think that was the intended look, but I think it's really fun. I enjoy it. So clue 4 was essentially a repeat of clue 2. It's not exactly the same. You'll notice there's some differences in this bottom section because up here in section 2, we were still having increases, which just caused the pattern to look a little bit different. But other than that, it's essentially the same and with the same brick motif. So if you want to hear more about Rujuu, specific to clue 4, or just overall, you can check out my MYAL vlogs, which are linked down below, specifically for Rujuu, and also the channel that I'm a co-host of called Mystery Knit-Alongs, where my friend Neil and I are talking about all the mystery knit-alongs that we are going to be doing, but the first one is Rujuu. So I am enjoying that. Just for a quick recap, my yarns are Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in the color Oatmeal, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Worsted in Onyx Heather, and Knit Picks Preciosa, which is a singles yarn. Pink is Pokeberry, and the orangey coral is Anemone. Just a little fun fact, so far how much I've done of that sweater is exactly 300 grams of yarn, which it's great. It's a stash buster. I love it. If you haven't seen yet, I did do my video for the January State of the Stash, and having more yarn come out of my stash for the upcoming months is just making me so happy, and this one is going to be a big one too. All right, so we are done with Rujuu. We are done with knitting. Let's talk about spinning. I don't know what. I just got a wild hair the other day and decided I wanted to spin. It's been in the back of my mind to join the Spackle, which is a spin to knit along for the Jaunty. Both Rachel from Wool and Spinning and of course Andrea Mowry from Drea Ray Knits. They're both doing spin-alongs specifically for the purpose of spinning yarn to make a Jaunty shawl. So I had been percolating over using, I have 2 batts in my stash, 2 very large batts, around 8 ounces each, that I bought at the first fiber festival I ever went to in September of 2018. That is when I took my first spinning class, my only spinning class, and I bought a spinning wheel. So at the same time, I went and bought these 2 bats. I had no idea what I was looking at, what I was looking for. I truly just saw colors that I thought was pretty. And at the time, I thought 8 ounces would be enough to spin for a sweater. And boy, was I wrong. But anyway, so I bought these 2 bats and I've been wanting to use them, but also very intimidated by them. So I don't have them, or I should say just one. I'm only spinning one of them right now. I don't have it in bat form. Here's the tag. I have broken the bat down. So I have a picture of what the bat looked like when I bought it, all nice and wrapped up with this little twine. And from the outside of the bat, you think you have an understanding of what the colors are going to look like kind of all the way through. Well, when I opened that up, I found essentially 2 bats inside of what I thought was 1 bat. And the 2 bats, while they were similar in color, they were also very different. So this is the, I guess we'll call it the second bat of that pack. And of course, it's wrapped into a ball. When you have a bat and you have it all spread out, if you kind of tear off strips in what would look like an S, or think of a snake, something like that, you can then pre-draft the fibers out to be one long strand of roving. So that's what I have done. It's just very airy and light and nice to spin. So I have been intimidated by long draw and these bats for a long, long time. And I decided that I was going to just bite the bullet. These things have sat in my stash for so long. It's time to do something with them. Now, this is the fiber makeup of this bat. It's a MIM thing, M-I-M. And I am not sure that this person still does fiber preparation. I tried to look them up the other day. I did not find anything. I got this at Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival, which used to be held in Canby, Oregon. It's now held in Albany, Oregon. So I don't know if this person still does fiber at all. But if you look at this, this is 68% alpaca, 29% wool, and 3% Angora. Knowing what I know now about fiber, I never, ever would have bought this being all alpaca. And then, like I had said, my thought in buying these bats was I would spin for a sweater. And if you know anything about alpaca, 68% alpaca. It does have 29% wool, which means it would have some structure, but alpaca is super drapey. It tends to really stretch out. It doesn't hold its shape well. And I could be mistaken about this, but I want to say it's because alpaca doesn't have crimp to the fiber structure. It's just a different animal. So yeah, and I don't know really anything about Angora, but it's only 3%. I will say this is super soft, super squishy, but not something I would buy today. So here is my first bobbin of long draw spun singles from the first half of this. Actually, I didn't bring in, so this is about half of the fiber. This is about a quarter of what I've spun so far. And so I have the other half of the first roving. This bobbin is for my Lindrum DT, which is a double treadle spinning wheel. It's supposed to hold 4 ounces of fiber, and I got 2.35 ounces on here. If you look at this, and I'm pretty new to long draw. I have done it before, but I have never felt like I actually knew or was doing the right thing. I just was trying. But look at how airy this is. Do you see the squish factor? It's insane. There is so much air on here. I Don't know how consistent the singles are. Long draw still is intimidating to me. However, on this bobbin, I finally got into a spot where I was like, okay, it's clicking. I feel like I actually know what I'm doing here. I took a little video of me spinning long draw, and I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see because the section or the area where my spinning wheel is set up, I'm behind our sofa, but on the left side of me is a bookshelf. And so I prop my phone up on the bookshelf, and you kind of get like a cross-section view. It's not a straight on. You don't really see me, but you'll see my hands. And it's just this very methodic, like you bring the yarn back real slow, you pinch with this hand a little bit to control the twist, then you make sure it's twist locked, and then you feed it back on, and then you just keep doing that. And it's almost like a dance, you know, like your feet are going, your arm is going. So I'm thinking, I'm getting this. I'm finally getting it because I've watched so many videos and it just never clicked. I was always fighting it and it clicked. And then I started the second bobbin, and I swear it's like I started over again. Like the dance is gone. I don't know. I don't understand like why we had it down. And literally I finished this bobbin this morning and just started the second one, and it just isn't quite there. And so I think it's just dialing in exactly how much break band I need and speed and all those things. But I'm very excited to see what this yarn is going to look like. I'm going to two-ply it. So the batt that is the other batt, I don't have a good picture of right here, it's going to get plied with what's left of this batt. And so they're different enough that I think there will be some good contrast. I do have a photo of the second bobbin I started, which is again still part of the same batt, and I'm calling it Oscar the Grouch because the color, you can see the color trend it's going towards here, like this neon-y yellow green, but it's still got some purple in it and different colors, a little bit of blue, and it definitely reminds me of Oscar the Grouch in the best way. That's it for spinning. I worked on this all morning this morning. It's all I want to do. I just want to spin. And so that Lullaby Blanket is not getting finished, unfortunately, at least not today. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is my upcoming knitting plans. Let me take a drink of coffee first. All right. So where's my yarn? What do I do with it? Oh, it's over there. I'll be right back. All right. In this project bag that I made myself quite some time ago, I have yarn that I am going to be joining in the, oh gosh, what's it called? Glow Along 2026. It's the second year that Stephen is doing a mohair based mystery knit along shawl. Starts on March 4th. I mentioned earlier all about the mystery knit along channel that I'm a part of. And so we are going to be knitting the Mohair Mobile shawl, Mobile. I'm not sure how you say that. I think it's said both ways. But I am going to be not using Mohair. So we'll see how it turns out. The reason I'm not going to use Mohair is because I don't have any in stash and I don't want to buy yarn. I want to use my stash. But I have these 5 colors of Knit Picks Chroma lace. This is all lace weight singles. Let's see if I can give you a good close up here. There we go. This one has a strand that's loose. So that is what the yarn looks like. And even though it's not mohair, I don't know that you can see it. It does have a pretty good halo to it, a pretty good fuzz. And I think that's mostly because it's singles. This is 70% superwash wool, 30% nylon. So I'm going to use these 5 colors because it calls for 5 colors of mohair. I think the gradient is going to add something really interesting. Also, it may not have as much contrast in certain sections as it should. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And my main color is going to be just an undyed sock yarn. So white with all these blues and greens. And I think it's going to look amazing. So that is on the horizon. I'm not normally like a blue-green person, but I think I have a color trend this year, at least so far. All right, let me look at my notes and see if I'm forgetting anything. That is it. So now we are to books. I have a very short book segment this week because I really haven't been doing a lot of reading. As you know, I like to knit and read, but I cannot spin and read. So I could listen to an audiobook, but sometimes I just really enjoy the sound of the spinning wheel. It almost sounds like a metronome. You can just hear like this little clicking of the treadles, and I don't know, there's something about it. It's just very soothing. But I did finish listening to Blonde Hair, Blue Eyes by Karen Slaughter. That was the one I told you about last week, which was just a very short story from the perspective of a girl who is mentioned in the first book, which is, oh my goodness, Pretty Girls. And her perspective is not covered in the first book or the main book. And so this was from her perspective, which was interesting. I give it a 3 stars, maybe 3.5. I liked the fact that it was part of the same audiobook because I don't know if it would be worth seeking out on its own, but it was worth continuing to listen, if that makes sense. I think I mentioned last week, I am reading the Forever Strong Playbook by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Excuse me, my throat. So I'm still reading that. I have not gotten real far into it, but I have gone through the mindset portion. I think I'm just getting started on the nutrition portion. And then after that is the workout portion, which I will talk about in life stuff because I have some things to say. But I need my voice to last. All right, before we get to that, real quick, I'm still reading the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer. That was a book that was recommended to me, and since I mentioned that last time, many people have commented back to me that they also love that book, so I'm just not far enough into it to be loving it yet. But that being said, I don't know if I read any of it in the last week, so I need to get back to it because it's on a library loan. And I just started listening to The Wedding People by Alison Espach. Very, very early on in that. In fact, just one trip to work. That's all that I have listened to it for. But I am enjoying it. It's very interesting so far. Let's talk about life stuff. I've had some life stuff. Last week I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going to the gym because there's no heat and I wasn't loving that, and it really just felt like torture on top of torture. So I really am wanting to continue to work out. And then this book that I'm reading, the Forever Strong Playbook by Gabrielle Lyon, she has a workout plan in there. And so I've been doing a lot of barbell-based workouts. I've been doing deadlifts and bench press and squats as my 3 main lifts, and then doing a lot of other stuff with that. And I have done that for over 6 months. I really did not see the body recomposition that I was hoping for. And part of that is diet. I fully admit that. But I'm definitely stronger. But between not really seeing what I am hoping to see, plus just wanting to try something else and the heat thing, I've decided, I just told the gym owner this morning that I've decided to take a break from the gym. I'm going to try some other things. I really want to try this 6-week program, which Dr. Gabrielle Lyon has a Facebook group. I think it's called the Forever Strong Playbook or Forever Strong, something like that. Maybe Forever Strong Community, something along those lines. And she's starting a workout along. Is that a thing? Starting February 15th, where she's starting through the workouts, and it's a community-based kind of participation thing. I'm sure you can participate as much or as little online as you actually want to, but I do find that a community who's all working towards the same thing can be very helpful for motivation, especially if you have questions or if you're just feeling unsure or what have you. So I'm going to do that. I've already started though. So I've already done the first week of the workouts. And now I'm not sure if I'm just going to, because let's see, the 15th, I still have another week. So technically I will be done with the first 2 weeks because the workouts are separated by weeks 1 and 2, and then they change up for weeks 3 to 6. So am I going to repeat the first 2 weeks and start over with everyone else? Or would I just jump ahead to weeks 3 to 6? I will tell you, it is challenging. And it's challenging because I am using the heaviest weights that I can to do as many lifts as it says. Like, it gives you a range of lifts, so say like 6 to 15 or 8 to 15. And so you want to pick a weight that allows you to accomplish reps in that range with good form. And so like sometimes, and usually it's 3 sets. And so if I do the first set and I'm like, nope, that was too light, I can go heavier. Then I'll do the second set with a heavier weight. And if that was still too light, I'll do the third set with even a heavier weight. So I think that what that's called is called progressive overload. I'm learning all kinds of new terms. And that is not something that I was getting going to the gym. Yes, I was increasing my lift amount slowly when I was doing the deadlifts and all that, but it wasn't the same. Like, I wasn't reaching failure on each of those lifts every week. I don't know. So anyways, I just think it's a different perspective. I'm in another Facebook group for women who lift weights, and I hear that term so much, progressive overload and fatigue. Failure. I keep getting those two mixed up. Failure, and how important that is to building muscle. So I'm trying that. If you guys know anything about those things or want to learn more, I encourage all of your comments down below. It's so helpful for me to hear other people's experiences. And I'm just trying mine. So the gym was very much like CrossFit-ish, which you can build strength doing that. And I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to like do a competition or anything like that. I just want to feel good in my body, both mobility-wise, which I think the gym was accomplishing a lot of that, but mobility, and then just the way that I look, middle age is not an easy time. I'll leave it at that for now. I think that's enough gym talk. But yes, it is something that is very much on my mind. The other life stuff, I've had a lot of life stuff this week. February 5th was a memorial service for a colleague of mine who was killed 10 years ago in the line of duty at work. And so every year for the last 10 years on February 5th, we've held a memorial. And that was Thursday. Thursday, we had our 10th annual memorial. So it was really, it's always sad, of course. I have a lot of memories, and he was very much a mentor to me. So a lot of emotions. But it was really good to see a lot of people who worked with him, who I also worked with, who have left since then. I think I have alpaca up my nose. Anyway, it was good to see a lot of people and to reconnect and reminisce. It's always good to see that and do that. So it's a hard day, but we try and make it a good day, if that makes sense. And then yesterday we got up real early at 4 a.m. and headed to our veterinarian that we take the dogs to. They don't do appointments, and so it's first come, first serve, which means you have to get there way before they open, so that essentially if you're the first car there, you make a mental note of the time that you get there. When they put out the sign-up sheet, it'll ask for the time that you got there, and so that's how they see people. So we were the second car there. We got there at 4:51 in the morning, and I brought my Rujuu, so it's fine. As a knitter, we can fill up time, no problem. My husband studied in the car, but we brought Fiona with us because she's been having some neurological issues as well as pain. Some, like Chihuahuas, if you know anything about them, their kneecaps tend to come out of the socket. And with my dog Rudy, he had to have surgery to have that fixed. And so we noticed that Fiona's were doing it. She'll be 16 in May, so she's not a spring chicken, but she's doing pretty good. And then she's been on some seizure medications, and so we have adjusted her medications. They gave her some pain medications that I think are going to help with some of the things. And luckily, the vet said that her kneecaps are going back into place on their own, which is good, because with my dog Rudy, his were not going back in. That's why he had to have surgery. So overall, we got really good news. And then because Fiona is getting up there in age, we have come to the realization our other dog, Ollie, we already knew this, but it was solidified not too long ago, that he just doesn't do well by himself. But he does just fine with another dog in the house. So Fiona isn't going to live forever. I mean, I wish she would. I hope she would, but I'm also realistic that if we had to put her down and did not have another dog for when we leave for work, that Ollie would be a basket case. It would not be healthy for him and certainly not for our belongings. So we had reached out to our local animal shelter. We thought we could just go in and take a look at, they only have one Chihuahua. It's actually a Chihuahua mix, but they actually told us that the dog is currently with a foster. So we got a hold of the foster. They brought the dog to our house yesterday and we got to meet her. Her name is currently Nina, spelled Neena. I don't know how that is Nina, but there you go. And I think we're probably going to keep the name, but if we get this dog, it's going to be Nina, Nina, because who spells it with two E's? I'm sorry if that's how your name is spelled, but it should be Nina, in my opinion. So anyway, we met her. They say she is just over, almost 10 years old, but she does not act 10. So I'm not sure how accurate that number is. But she has had some teeth pulled, so her tongue kind of like flops out the side of her mouth. It's actually quite cute. But anyway, she got along pretty well with the dogs. There was a little bit of aggression. I think she will probably end up being the alpha dog if we get her. So I think there's always that adjustment period. They have to understand where they fit in the pack. So we put our application in and hopefully we hear back about that soon. But I think we're ready to add a third dog in the mix. Fiona really can't do walks anymore, and so it'd be nice to have two dogs to take out to walk instead of just Ollie. I think that's all the life stuff. It was a long one. If you're still here, thank you for sticking with me. I just had a lot to say. As always, I am happy to hear your comments, your observations, advice, suggestions, all the things. If you have anything to let me know, please drop it down below. If you don't want the whole world to see your comment, I do have an email address, or you can privately direct message me on Instagram, Ravelry, wherever. Oh my goodness, I forgot one of the most exciting things to tell you guys. I received a wonderful package in the mail yesterday, and as I was cleaning up my stuff to take it back out of my craft room with me, I saw this and I was like, no, I have to talk about this because I received just the most amazing thing. ever. I got a package from my online friend Emily. She sewed this project bag for me. Do you see? It has the peanuts on there, which I love. And the interior fabric is this beautiful wash of rainbow colors, which in her note to me, she said, after seeing my Advent videos, she knew how much I loved the peanuts, and the interior fabric reminded her of my Cuddlebums, and she's not wrong. This might be the perfect project bag for me. It is also huge, like real huge. I don't know, what can I compare it to? I don't know. Let's see. We'll put my Anthology Throw in here, and I think it will take up not very much room in here. Yes. It's maybe half full, so I can fit a lot. This will definitely fit blankets, sweaters, all the things. And thank you, Emily. This is the sweetest gift, and just know I appreciate this so much. I appreciate that you put the hard work into it. It's so well made. Also, do you notice, oh, it's not that way on this side. I was looking at this side. Look at this. It has this little like chevron. Oh, it's just so awesome. I love it so much. Thank you, and I will use this for a long, long time. So truly appreciated, but not necessary. I hope that you know that. All right, I think that's really it. Thanks for joining me today. I will talk to you hopefully next week. I've been doing really good about going weekly. So if you remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment, I'd appreciate it. And I will see you soon. Bye.